I, I've had a long week and I am fucking exhausted. I really am. So, yeah, good news is I have no plans to do anything this weekend, so I don't have to leave my house at all. I'm gonna need that. There's just gonna be a whole lot of sleeping. I'm surviving now thanks to the help of some energy drinks. Been trying some new ones. Cause like I started with Mio, this shit. I'm actually going to Dasani now just because you get more for the same price. And it actually, I feel like the taste isn't quite as strong. But I'm still getting, like I said, I'm going with price on this one. It still tastes good enough. It's not a sponsorship. I'm just telling you that this is what I'm experiencing. Plus, also, it's about how much because they're pouring it into water. It's about how much you squirt. Anyways, I work at a restaurant, and my boss actually he owns 3 restaurants, not like individually by himself. There's this whole ownership group, but still, this man opened 3 restaurants, and they've been open for a while. The oldest one has been the flagship store. It's been open for 5 years, and yet apparently they're still struggling. And like I can look at it and be like, wow, like you got a business, a very successful business that is constantly bringing in money. I consider that successful, but apparently there are still times where it's a struggle to get the bills paid. And there are times where, we've got, it's, huge, a lot of money being made. Let's put it in the bank because the next 3 months we're going to be like heavy in debt and stuff. And long story short, he even confided in me that there are still times where he wonders, is it worth it? And, we had this whole conversation about what it means to be a trailblazer. And there's actually a lot of arguments against it, really, because there's like a saying that he told me about, which I'd never heard before, but it makes perfect sense, because it's kind of true. When you're in a war, the soldiers on the front line, the first people to charge into battle, you're more than likely going to be the first one to get shot. And the thing about trailblazers, you blaze a path for everybody else, but, you suffer along the way. But at the same time, I made the argument that, well, is it worth it if maybe your suffering helps clears the path for other people? And I used the reference of Galileo. Galileo discovered gravity, and they hung him because he was a lunatic. But, it still laid a foundation for many other future discoveries. So it's kind of one of those things. And apparently my advice kind of helped him. Like, what I've said is basically, it might not be worth it for you personally, but you are blazing a trail, doing something unique that other people, can look at this and see, well, he was successful, why can't I be? And there will be more and more stuff in this vein. Because what he does is something that's unique and different that restaurants don't really do anymore. Because most restaurants, they all order from Sysco. It's just one big company where it's a one-stop shop for everything you need. You can get all your meats, all your mustard, everything that you need. Just pick up a phone, just dial them. You get your usual order, and they'll just bring a whole shit ton, just a truck full of boxes, and just you put it on the shelves. That easy. Whereas him, he actually, everything that we use in the restaurant is within, I think, 10 or 15 miles of the restaurant. He actually talks to local farmers, all the meat we use, the pork that we buy is a farmer who raises his own pigs and then butchers them and sells them to us, but they're raised in a very natural environment. And then all the vegetables and everything else, they're raised naturally in clean, safe, very eco-friendly environments, and then brought to us. And it's harder, and it takes more money, which means we have to raise the prices. And its location isn't ideal either, and it's hard to get people in. Long story short, there are times, like he said, he admitted there are times when they are struggling so heavily that he wonders if it's worth it. But the one thing that I said, because he knows that, because he has a family, he's got 3 kids he's got to take care of. And like, I get it, you always have to worry about money, and especially when you're in that state. Because me, I'm a free man. I got no one on my plate but me. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and it only affects me, really. But, like, basically, I told him one thing that, it's a piece of advice I keep telling myself, which I don't always follow it, but it's something that I do strongly believe in. And like, I can't necessarily say I invented this advice, but I've never heard anyone say this other than me. Like, I never heard it on any movie or TV show or song. It's just, I was talking with some friends in high school, and we were just talking about like goals and ambitions, dreams, stuff like that. And someone said something like, "Oh, that's impossible," whatever, and something slipped out of my mouth that at the time I hadn't really given it much thought. I just said it because it sounded right in the moment, but it's something that I've come to accept as absolute truth, which is that everything is impossible until someone does it. There are so many things that we might take for granted in the modern world, like the fact that so many people have been on airplanes. And you know how many people thought that the Wright brothers were the craziest motherfuckers in the world when they're like, let's take this car engine and put some wings on it. We'll be able to fly through the air like birds. They're like, you're fucking nuts, bro. But now, 50, 100 plus whatever years later, I don't know the exact date, but whatever, all these years later, they're like, planes are just a regular thing, We live in a world where if you wanted to visit another continent, you get on a boat and it would take months and half of the people would die on the way there. Nowadays, plane, couple hours, no problem. So just keep that in mind. That's the advice of the day. Everything is impossible until someone does it. Don't let other people tell you that you can't do something. The fact that you want to do it, that alone is reason enough to do it. If it's something you believe in, then you should pursue it because you believe in it. Someone else doesn't have to believe in you for you to believe in yourself. And I don't know, I can't tell you how to, put this advice into your daily lives. I don't even take my own advice half the time, unfortunately, but I do still strongly believe in the words that I'm saying. And I will conclude your message by leaving you with this, because I want to end this video on a much lighter note. Because, oh my god, guys, I just can't even. Like, I literally can't even. No, like, seriously, it's a problem. Because I went to the grocery store, and, like, if a clerk, she rings me up at the cashier, and she just like, that'll be $19.35. Then I'm like, alright, sure, whatever. But if she rings me up, and it's like, that's $24.68, I'm just looking at her like, what? Like, seriously? She told me it was like $29.87, and I just handed her a $10 bill and a dime.